Chris Gelser here with
Matt Howell.
And on this episode of The First Run, I hope you're sitting down. The Lady Wan is here. JC as well of the ScreenFix Pod. I know that sounds exciting. I know you already can't believe it. But on top of that, James Baker of Pop Cult Net is here. Because it's our mid-January 2020-2010 wrap-up blowout. As you know, we don't do our top 10s, top 5s of the year at the end of the year. That's for amateurs. We wait until the middle of January. As when you've kind of gotten over that taste, right? But there's still a little bit more like, man, you know what? You know what I miss? Like top 10s. So we're here to kind of
late.
Exactly.
Cool.
We're here to bring that back for you. We'll be discussing Sam Mendes' World War I film 1917. Can the drama, action, and technical skill, well, it's enough to deliver a Best Picture win? It did get a nomination. And speaking of Best Pictures, we're all going to have a healthy debate with, I'm assuming, a mild round of profanity as we discuss the recently announced Oscar nominations themselves. I'll fill you in on what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday. Then the ultimate cluster begins, with everyone sharing their favorite films of 2019, though we have some rules, and we'll get into that when we get to that point. But I got me some new drops, I got me some booze, I got some good friends. Let's have some fun and hear a clip from 1917.
Colonel Mackenzie is in command of the 2nd. He sent word yesterday morning he was going after the retreating Germans. He is convinced he has them on the run. That if he can break their lines now, he will turn the tide. He is wrong. Colonel Mackenzie has not seen these aerials of the enemy's new line. Come around here, gentlemen. 3 miles deep, field fortifications, defenses, artillery, the like of which we've never seen before. The 2nd are due to attack the line shortly after dawn tomorrow. They have no idea what they're in for. And we can't warn them. As a parting gift, the enemy cut all our telephone lines. Your orders are to get to the 2nd at Quasi Wood, 1 mile southeast of the town of Auguste. Deliver this to Colonel Mackenzie. It is a direct order to call off tomorrow morning's attack. If you don't, it will be a massacre. We will lose 2 battalions, 1,600 men, your brother among them. You think you can get there in time?
Yes, sir.
Well, okay.
British people being British.
So, this is going to be a disaster. 1917 has got its wide release. It has been nominated for Best Picture. Sam Mendes brings a story to life of just from a clip of a story perhaps that his grandfather once told him about a messenger. And then from there, we expand and create this gigantic film about a pair of men who have to get to the front lines because they have been set up. They're walking right into a trap, and 2 divisions will be annihilated, and it may cost them the war.
You know what? This movie feels like an old man rambling about a memory.
I think, all right, so JC's made his feelings clear.
He does that a lot.
But I would say, now I was on Twitter, and in between looking at inappropriate things, I saw James Baker's tweet about 1917, and I feel, James, that you kind of encapsulated kind of most of my thoughts about it. Let's start everything off with you. What were your thoughts about 1917?
So I went into it last night, and I saw a lot of people talking about the one shot, continuous shot, pretty much being the big gimmick of it. But I felt like it was very distracting. Even though it was like very impressive, I found myself trying to keep guessing when they made a cut and not really paying attention to the film. But once I got that out of my head, I kind of was trying to enjoy the film, but I just felt like something was missing. I didn't really feel attached to the 2 characters that were pretty much putting their life on the line to save thousands of soldiers. I didn't really feel attached to them.
They don't even seem like very good friends themselves. Like the one guy's like, "Why'd you pick me?"
Yeah, and it was just small talk, and I guess that's what they were going for because, you know, it's real life conversations. You're not going to have dialogue, you know, on the way to deliver a message. But other than the technical stuff, I really didn't feel moved watching this. I felt like they took one of the characters out a little bit too early. Kind of could have kept him there.
Agreed.
Yeah, I wasn't really feeling it as much as everybody else is. But on a technical level, it's astounding, very impressive. But as far as dialogue and, feeling something when these characters die, and he finally delivered a message. I really didn't care at the end.
Lady Wan, what are your thoughts?
Dude, you're doing this on purpose because I'm chomping at the bit.
Am I? Am I doing
All
that?
right, go ahead.
Patient.
All right, fine.
Thank you. So, well, I don't normally see war movies because they're like real and sad and like it's just too much for me that I can't. But the gimmick of this one got me. The fact that Andrew Scott is in it got me. My main criticism of this movie is that there is not enough Andrew Scott in it. That is something that should have been corrected.
Wait, is Andrew Scott Hot Priest from?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we get it now. Hot Priest from Scumbag or whatever that is.
Fleabag.
Fleabag.
Yes.
He's a tremendous talent.
Sure, he is.
I would like
Tremendous
Phoebe
something.
Waller-Bridge to basically choke me out and tell me I am a miserable little bug. So we will not disrespect Fleabag on this show. Andrew Scott will always kind of be. I first saw him as Moriarty in the
Yes.
Moffat
Yeah.
Sherlock
Yeah.
reboot. So, but I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
he-
you were saying.
He's really good in that too. Hot Priest was a game changer for me though. Anyway. Yeah, no, I agree with James though. I really felt like it was a technical accomplishment of this movie, but I like cried once, and I cry a lot, like in a lot of movies, and just once for a war movie, I don't know. I didn't feel that attached either, and I was also definitely going, ooh, that's a cut. That's a cut right there. Okay, cool. I saw one. Like just trying to watch for that instead of trying to take in the whole movie.
I'm terrified to ask any of you if you've seen Rope. Matt, your thoughts, please. We'll get to you, JC.
Oh, the Hitchcock
Rope,
film.
another
Oh,
one
yeah.
shot.
I want to pass. I want to hear what everybody else has to say.
Yeah.
JC, go.
Fine.
Well, you mentioned Rope. We should mention Rope as another one shot
It's way better than
Ish.
1917.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's my turn. All right, here we go.
Please.
100% agree with them not hitting any emotional heights with this thing, and I have all the reasons why. So here we go. 1917, aside from the fact that it's not the most impressive one shot there is, Birdman was better, Rope was better, and it's like the one shot's been done before. What are they trying to prove here? And I feel like the one shot actually does a disservice to this movie because everything happens too quickly and without logic. I mean, the one captain doesn't know the enemy has retreated, but as soon as they get to the other side, there's already an entire army convoy there with Mark Strong, who already knows that there's another line. And the one guy gets covered in rocks, literally gets blown up and covered in rocks, and he's just blinded for a hot second and has to blind Indiana Jones jump over a massive hole. Who's digging a massive hole in a cave? And then he gets a ride in some truck for about 2 minutes, and it stops twice, once getting stuck. They make a big deal about him getting it out of the mud, and then 30 seconds later they're stopped because the bridge is out. They drove him maybe a quarter of a mile. He could have walked it faster than that truck. Then he jumps over into this town, and even though the captain says goodbye to him, goes, okay, sorry, yeah, you're on your own now. The captain never fails to tell him that the city he's looking for is that one right there. He has to ask a local. It's crazy. Like, there's so many things like that. They're just trying to cram so much in that they really should have dialed it back. I mean, there's stuff that's so goofy. Like, he gets shot in the head, then jumps in a river. And if this is real time, right? 15 minutes of his life later, the wound in his head isn't bleeding anymore at all. In fact, he doesn't even have a scratch on him after being blown up, buried in rocks, shot, going down a waterfall. I mean, in the end, I felt nothing other than, man, this script is bad. I mean, they take no time to develop any character. So in the end, I cared about nothing. They were so worried about pulling off this quote-unquote technical marvel that they never stopped to think if they're actually cramming in too much. The story needed to be dialed back, less characters, less terrain. And, I feel like this movie just needed a spot to breathe. Like, do a long shot that encompasses the first piece of the movie, the hour left before dusk. Let them get to a safe house with some French people. No more one cut, just regular movie then. Give the movie a chance to breathe. The characters talk. We learn more about them. What are their hopes? What do they do back home? What are they afraid of? Then start a new one shot for the 1 hour for the early morning, culminating in the sunrise when the attack is supposed to take place. Make the guy who didn't want to come along be the one who sacrifices himself, so he has an arc, so the brothers can be reunited. There's so many ways they could have just fixed this to make it better. It didn't need to be crammed into the one-shot gimmick that actually fails the movie rather than elevates it.
So, if you're not familiar with JC and Lady Wan's podcast, which it's just baffling to me, but their whole, the whole conceit of the show is that they'll take a film and they share different ways that they would fix the film. So I feel like, JC, I don't know if you've spoiled, maybe if you guys are even covering 1917 at some point, but
I feel like I just did a ScreenFix mini-zode.
Exactly.
That's exactly what you just did.
I'm sorry about that.
No,
I can't
Help it. You can't help it, man.
I can't. Okay, this
get
is
a
my
taste
free.
for it.
This is my free ad spot. I guess I don't
There you
know.
go.
Sure.
But anyway, but that's.
Well, my grandmother
I
will
feel,
be very happy to hear about it.
I feel really strongly about that when it comes to 1917. I think
Yeah.
that they tried to cram too much into the one shot, and it just falls apart.
Matt, you're our resident grumpy old man tonight. What were your thoughts of 1917?
I actually want to hear your thoughts first, Chris.
Oh, Matt has some shit to say.
Oh.
I can feel it.
What
You can feel the tension is just coming off him. He's got the aura. He saw these big old demon wings going to come out.
Just relax, amigo.
I'm in charge tonight, Chris.
Fine. 1917. It's a movie. Sam Mendes directs it. The sexy priest guy's in it, and it's good. All right, Matt, go. No, I'm going to say I agree mostly with my distinguished panel. I don't know if I'm as adamantly against the film as perhaps some of them are. I think it's a technical marvel and possibly the greatest non-video game adaptation I've ever seen.
I don't know. Overlord was pretty great.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
And that had
Overlord is the
zombies in
best
it,
one
Nazi
ever.
zombies.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And as our stars kind of run the gauntlet, I feel I will say there are a couple times I kind of had my hand over my mouth, like, oh my god, is he gonna get through this? What's gonna happen next? But it does lack an emotional hook. All the ingredients are there. We got family. We pop in a young woman who's taking care of a baby. There's like a side mission where he has to coddle the baby for a little bit, right? I can feel Mendes' hand throughout this whole thing, but unfortunately, it's not in an artistic way. It's more mechanical and perhaps even kind of lifeless. The whole thing in the end felt like a video game to me.
Yeah, Roger Deakins pretty much made this film.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is elevated by the fact that they have the ultimate cheat code, Roger Deakins doing the cinematography.
Yeah.
The best cinematographer alive is shooting this movie.
But they don't give him any time to breathe with his shots.
Yeah,
so there are some moments,
script,
but we need to keep moving. We need to keep moving.
Yep. Go,
So you
go.
never really get an opportunity to take all of this in, and it's just it's disappointing.
It felt, like you said, it felt video gamey, but at the same time, it felt like a play. Sam Mendes has a history in theater, so I think that he wanted to put that on the big screen. And I was watching an interview with George McKay, and I still don't understand why the biggest moment in the film was in the trailer. And
when he's running with the explosion.
I'm like, that's probably the most moving part of the film that's in the trailer. And he wasn't even supposed to run into anybody. I just found that out. That was an accident. They just kept
That's
running.
cool. Good.
So that was pretty cool.
It worked out
But
well.
I don't understand why they put the biggest moment in the movie in the trailer. I hate when they do that.
So there you go. All right. So I have a special occasion beer ready for this tonight. It's Funky Buddha's No Crust, peanut butter and jelly brown ale. I've been sitting on this for months for a special occasion. It's our year-end wrap-up.
This is in honor of the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches they ate in the trenches.
So I'm going to pop this now because I'm sure Matt is now going to say or do something that will make me either angry or sad, because that's typically how this relationship works.
Pour one out for Grandpa Mendes.
Yeah.
What you got, Matt?
So I wanted to go last because I could tell the way the winds are blowing here for my
It's pretty good.
co-host, my guests. And I'm sorry to say this, and I don't get to say this very often, but the four people around me are all wrong.
What?
So
We were
film-
friends, Matt.
We were. I guess friendship over. It began and it ended. Very
That was
quickly.
quick.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I
we had a good run. We had a good run.
disagree.
Yeah, you know that's what it is. When the flame starts hot, it burns out. It burns
That's
out
right.
just,
You know.
just as fast, right? I know
Right.
there's some saying like that, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true. I'll always remember you fondly. So anyway, I hear what my co-hosts are saying here. that there isn't a lot of emotional development with this film, and I think that's true. That can't really be argued. But I would say that I don't think that's the point. I think the kind of brotherhood of war, horrors of war, that's all been covered multiple times in many different ways. I mean, do we really need another one of those? And I would argue that we don't. This is more of a surreal kind of nightmare, push through the edge, visual dream sequence where, you know, you have one person who, as JC alluded to, didn't even want to do this to begin with, being asked to do something for reasons that aren't even clear to him anymore. Yet he keeps going forward, even with just all the kind of ludicrous things. And I think, you know, there are parts of it because of the one-shot conceit that make it seem ridiculous. Like, he wasn't riding in that vehicle for in real time. I mean, he wasn't riding in it for 30 seconds and then he just gets off. I mean, if it was if there were cuts, it would have shown that he would have been gone quite a ways. But that's a small gripe. I think just the kind of what they're able to, you know, put up on the screen, just something incredibly intense. I mean, it might be the most intense vested piece of film that I've watched all year, just from a straight, you know, excitement from beginning to end kind of thing. Like, I was genuinely invested in seeing how this all played out. And then at the end of it, it just kind of ends. And that also says something about the point of war. Like, you know, the whole idea of long stretches of boredom punctuated by terror. Well, he starts off doing nothing and he ends just kind of doing nothing. And you don't know if anything that just happened had any point. And with World War One, a war that does not get a lot of coverage, it probably didn't have any point.
I disagree, Gary.
Wait.
No, actually, I don't disagree. I mean, I think that's a fair point. In fact, I'm giving this a rather healthy grade. It's just that the emotional parts of it didn't work for me. But like I said, I had my hand over my mouth. I was kind of on the edge of my seat for quite a lot of this thing. It just didn't have any big emotional impact. But thinking about it through the prism of what you've just presented, I think maybe that kind of makes some sense. Anybody else? Any thoughts there about what Matt said?
Yeah, see, if you want to watch a good World War One, see Dunkirk, see Paths of Glory, see Gallipoli, see anything but this movie, which, just like what Matt said, has no point.
I still think you should see this movie.
Well, I think when's Dunkirk, World War II?
Yeah, that's 2. Yeah,
World War II gets all the glory. It's all
Paths of Glory is a phenomenal film. 1917. I'm giving it a B. Let's start. James, give me your grade.
I'll give it a B+.
All right, that works for me. JC, a massive fan of the film. What are you giving this one?
B- because of Roger Deakins and because of the one-shot gimmick. But the gimmick is a disservice to the movie. It really, really is. Irritates the crap out of me.
Ms. Lady Wan?
I'm going to give it a B+ because it is technically incredibly impressive. But, I mean, I cry at, like, grocery store commercials. And this only made me cry once.
Because there's nothing to feel there.
I know. So
empty, hollow movie.
It's still good. It's just it does something different. So you should still see it.
Do you keep like a crying scale? Like if it gets it up to 5 or 6 cries and it's equal to like an A, or how does it?
Honestly, in making my list for top movies of 2019, I realized I cry in like everything. So yeah, it's just too much to count.
I'm curious, what part made you cry in this film? You never mentioned it.
When he is telling the brother.
At the end. So you didn't care when he died?
No, not at all.
Spoiler.
Because you don't know him. You're like, all right, there he is. Okay.
Matt, did you want to rebut anything there and give me a grade?
No, I do really like Lady Wan's critique that it can't be that good because it only made me cry once, which I thought was an interesting way to approach it. I give it an A-. Like I said, I think you guys are all wrong. I think it'll stand the test of time. I know, but you know, I rarely ever get to say that people are wrong on the show. I'm going to take the opportunity.
No, you made some really good points though, and I do feel like I need to rewatch it again because I was distracted maybe like an hour and a half into it trying to guess cuts. But if I watch it again and not really focus on the cuts and kind of immerse myself into the film, I probably enjoyed it a lot better. So you made some solid points.
I feel like if I watch it again, I'm going to get more frustrated. I'm going to be like, really? A mouse fell on the tripwire? What is this, Avengers Endgame? Why are mice so important in 2019?
Okay.
Why are mice driving plots in 2019? 2019 is the year of the mouse.
Just respect the vermin.
Hey, they helped wipe out half the population at one point. So, I guess
Well, it's what they were carrying.
well, that was exciting and not at all a confusing, mangled mess. So let's go ahead and we're gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna tell you what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday, January 21st. And I'm rather excited about this. There is a local place. They have a website, Grindhouse Video, sourced here in Tampa. I pre-ordered it, and I was able to get it early. And this is an all-time favorite of mine because it's so bad, but it is so good. Let's hear a clip.
Ooh.
Stephen, where are you? Please answer me. Steve!
In this house, what you don't know will hurt you. It was to be a getaway dream. It's becoming a runaway nightmare.
And that location is Lucio Fulci's house by the cemetery. Blue Underground is releasing a brand new exclusive 4K restoration of the fully uncut version from the original camera negative. A couple buys a house that is, I guess, air quotes, haunted by a crazy doctor who used to perform experiments on people in the basement. And he may not.
Is it next
be
to
gone.
a cemetery?
Yes, it is indeed. So it's not just a clever moniker or anything. Includes a new audio commentary, 3 other new featurettes, and some ported over classics, a deleted scene, and more. But I believe this may be the first time you can get it with the actual Italian language track, audio track. Previously, you always had an English dub. And this movie is kind of famous because there's a kid in it named Bob, but he's voiced by like a guy in his 30s trying to sound like a little boy, and it's quite hilarious. And also, this limited edition includes a CD of the soundtrack. So
What year is this movie from?
Oh, what is this? 81, I think it is. So, yeah, it's... If you like Fulci and Italian gore films like that, House by the Cemetery is on the lower end of his good films, but it's still
What's the
pretty
grossest part? It's a gore film, right? Can you
Yeah.
give me like one? What's one scene that's grody?
There's a scene where, like what you just heard, where basically the knife goes into the watermelon. There's some other stuff that's just just check it out. I think you may enjoy it
I might.
if you're into that kind of thing. Speaking of which, Zombieland Double Tap is getting its physical release as well. Best Buy includes a steelbook. It's an extended outtakes and bloopers, 10 alternate and extended scenes, and a bunch of making of featurettes with interviews and a commentary by the director Ruben Fleischer. Matt, we enjoyed Double Tap, though for me it kind of felt like DLC, right? Not like a fully formed sequel, but kind of more just add-on content. Did any of you check out Zombieland Double Tap?
We have a whole episode on Zombieland Double Tap. We fixed it. And I think the biggest problems we had with it was it did very little to expand the universe at all. It did very little to justify its reason for existing, which was a problem.
Well, it introduced Zoe Dutch into the Zombieland universe, which I thought she was quite amusing.
She was the best part of the whole movie.
Good. I'm glad we got into a loose agreement on something.
Madison was absolutely the best part of that movie.
I'm terrified to bring up Brothers Bloom, but we'll see if that ever happens. Pedro Almodovar's Pain and Glory is being released. Snagged
Antonio Banderas.
Yep, snagged an Oscar nomination for him in this film. I'm really excited to catch up with this one. He plays a film director who reflects on the choices he's made in life as past and present come crashing down around him.
Sounds like some Oscar shit. Sorry, stuff.
No, you're free reign according to Matt, so we'll see how it goes. Coming up as well as Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I actually saw this in the theaters. I've always was a huge Jay and Silent Bob fan. There was a window of time when Chasing Amy was my favorite film.
Really? Was that 1997?
Basically.
1998?
And probably for a year or two, because I was also going to art school. I wanted to be a comic book artist. So,
Whoa, what happened to that dream? Do you have some drawings?
the problem was I made some bad decisions and I got in a relationship that wasn't good and got in a lot of debt and then had to pay my student loans and things didn't go well and I had to get a job. And oddly enough, this whole package, wasn't bringing in the action on the back page.
Can I hug you?
For a price. Includes cast interviews, bloopers, and then a hair reel, which I'm not sure what that is. I'll be honest with you. I kind of found this thing exceptionally disappointing. It's so filled with kind of nostalgia pics of the View Askew universe that it's just not terribly good. There are some good moments, but I've wanted to do a whole Kevin Smith Ovra review at some point. Hopefully I can get to that. Maybe that might be good. The new version of The Addams Family, the animated film, is being released. Includes new deleted and extended scenes and making of featurettes. Black and Blue. The Noomi Rapace. That's not correct. Noomi Rapace. That is an incorrect
Noomi Rapeface.
Noomi Harris. And Tyrese Gibson. This is the one where she plays the cop who witnesses a corrupt officer's murder a drug dealer, and then they kind of try and track her down and get her cam footage.
Did anybody see that?
I did not, but I wanted to. Anyone else?
Yeah, same. I did not, but I wanted to.
Yeah, I remember the trailer coming out, but I do not remember the movie coming out. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just for you. This is a JC pick.
All
also
right.
coming out is Countdown. This is the horror film with the app that counts down to when you're going to die.
Oh, God.
And then The Courier, Gary Oldman shows up in this thing. It's an intense action thriller that unfolds in real time. Ooh, just the way JC likes them. As two embattled souls fight for their lives. Goldman stars as a vicious crime boss out to kill Nick, the lone witness to testify against him. He hires a mysterious female motorcycle courier, played by Olga Kurylenko, to unknowingly deliver a poison gas bomb to slay Nick. But after she rescues Nick from certain death, the duo must confront an army of ruthless hired killers in order to survive the night.
I want to see that.
There you go. New to Blu-ray, Criterion is releasing La Petite Soldade. During the Algerian War for Independence from France, a young Frenchman living in Geneva who belongs to a right-wing terrorist group and a young woman who belongs to a left-wing terrorist group meet and fall in love. It's
Jesus
the whole
Christ.
MAGA Bernie thing all over again. High-definition digital restoration on this one. A couple interviews as well. And this is a Godard film, by the way. I know Matt really enjoyed our French New Wave marathon we did last year.
Best. I had such a good time.
Oh, my God. I would have been all about that, too.
Our Shout Factory release of Sliding Doors is coming out. Includes a new audio commentary by writer-director Peter Howitt. I actually really liked Sliding Doors when it came out at the time. Any Sliding Doors fans here? You're going to get that new...
Is that a Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah, is that the Gwyneth Paltrow vehicle?
It is. Pre-Candle.
No, fuck that movie.
What's pre-candle? Oh, her vagina candle.
Did you see the latest one where she was putting a vibrator in for what is it, Goop? She's putting a vibrator in a stocking and then she took it out, decided to keep it for herself. So it's like, who the fuck is she giving a vibrator to as a gift, and then she's just gonna decide to take it back? That's just such a weird ad for Goop.
Mima.
She's giving it to her mom. What, Blythe Danner?
That is her mom.
Yeah.
Jerry is being released from Shout. A friendship between two men, both named Jerry, is tested at its very limits when they become lost in the desert with neither food nor water. This is the Gus Van Sant film featuring Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. The Outcast movie Idlewild is being released on Blu-ray as well, includes some deleted scenes.
I remember that.
Not Kevin Spacey. Wrong Kevin. That is just a disturbing mistake to make.
Ugh.
Who's the Field Dreams guy? Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. That's very different than Kevin Spacey.
Yep, this is the supernatural film Dragonfly is being released. The new audio commentary by director Tom Shadyac and some deleted scenes. Any Mystery Science Theater fans will be happy to see that the straight version, not the MST3K version, but Kitten with a Whip, the Anne Margaret film with John Forsythe, is being released, and it's a pretty good episode from the later years of MST3K. And then
they're touring.
What is that? Oh yeah, they're
touring.
Yeah.
So check out their dates for their touring.
I saw them when they were Cinematic Titanic before MST3K came back, really? And I laughed so hard that I cried like 4 or 5 times. And then I saw them as MST3K.
That sounds Lady Wan approved. That's Lady Wan approved for sure if you cried 3 times.
Exactly. Your straight to DVD pick of the week is bad CGI. That's what happens with this segment. I talk too long.
Matt, have you ever tried hosting this?
Yeah,
you can't do worse.
I mean, he did. We were about to have like 45 best of picks, yet he had to talk about Kevin Costner Dragonfly as it is. Like anybody gives two shits.
The show has a format
that we have to stick to. Trim him for time. Trim him for time.
He's a purist.
He is.
Stick to the schedule.
Speaking of excise Dragonfly.
Your bad CGI sharks is your straight to DVD pick of the week. When two estranged brothers, uptight Matthew and free-spirited Jason, reunite after years apart, they have much more to worry about than just clashing personalities. A magical muse brings their unfinished childhood script to life, and soon a poorly rendered shark is floating through their neighborhood, thirsty for blood. Matt, what should we be streaming this week?
You should stream Midsummer. It's a fun time. You should watch it with your grandparents and your children. It's available on Amazon Prime. We'll probably talk about it later.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right. So we're going to spend.
I like it when JC's on the show. I like it when all you guys are on the show, but friendship with JC restored.
It's back.
Right on. Did you like Midsummer, Matt? Yep. There you go. All right. Yeah, we're friends again. Continue. Go ahead, Chris.
Do I want to?
You have to. The
Fine.
format.
Yeah, you got us all here. We got a format. Let's go.
He's so jealous of us, Matt.
It's what it is. All right. I want to spend a few minutes just briefly in talking about some Oscar snubs and stuff. So
plenty of those.
Here's a film that was snubbed, I think, by the Oscars. Well, maybe not. I liked it.
Your belt. It's yellow.
I had it made. It's for everyday use with casual clothing. Obviously, I chose yellow because I'm a yellow belt. I wanted to wear my yellow belt all the time, but I knew it would look strange.
That really is a wonderful idea.
That is a scene that I laughed so hard I cried in the theaters, and that is from The Art of Self-Defense. A very black comedy that just got me right in the feels, Matt. Tickled my funny bone and would not let up. I absolutely adored that little thing. So let's spend a few minutes just briefly, because I know Matt is pressed for time and is bored out of his mind. So let's get you out of the way, Matt. What are your thoughts about the Oscar nominations? Do you have any thoughts? Did you any snubs? Anything you thought they got right? Just very quickly.
This may be the thing that gets me kicked off the show, but honestly, I don't give a shit anymore. About the Oscars, at all. I mean, all this hand wringing about, Greta Gerwig, who gives a shit? I mean, obviously her movie got made. She got nominated last year. Maybe don't make a movie that's had 7 other versions of it just in theaters and 9 versions of it on TV.
You think that's the issue?
I don't care what the issue is. Honestly, who gives a crap about it? I mean, seriously, it's not worth the digital ink to be worried about it. At the end of the day, her movie got made. So what? I didn't like Joker. A lot of people did. I guess I'm in the minority, but
I don't like Joker.
I mean, I didn't like it either, but a lot of people did.
Let me ask you.
I think go ahead.
If a film does well and it gets an Oscar nomination and potentially even wins, do you think that helps the film's box office returns? Do you think that helps sales and home video
1917
sales? Do you think then it helps?
Won the Golden Globe, and suddenly it won the weekend. It would not have won the weekend if it did not have the Golden Globe buzz. 100%. That movie was under the radar hardcore until the Golden Globes pushed it right out into the forefront.
I don't think I can agree with that.
I do. Of course,
but my point is, it shows the viability of kind of stuff like this. Unless you just want, which is where we're going, you just want superhero movies and sequels. That's all you want. That's fine. The top 10 films that came out this year, 8 of them are Disney related.
Yeah, we talked
about
that last year.
Superhero films and sequels. Every one of them.
That has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, the highest grossing ones, yeah, but that's not
who cares? None of the Oscar movies are ever in the highest grossing ever.
But my point is,
Black Panther. But that was an outlier.
Listen, I agree with you that the Oscars are trash. It's ridiculous at this point how badly they do it. Like I said, we're not even going to watch it this year. Right?
We didn't watch it last year.
I did. We live streamed it, Matt.
Did we? I've hysterically blocked that out of my mind.
We had a bunch of guests pop in and out. You don't remember? It was actually a lot of fun until Green Book won, and then I swore for 5 minutes, and then and I swore that I'd never watch it again. And this is just further testament to that.
Green Book
how
was
ridiculous
not
and out
surprising
of touch it all is. So
at all. No matter what they do, the overwhelming amount of Oscar voters are old white men. And what does an old white man who thinks he's doing the hip thing do? Oh, I'm going to choose the movie with the white guy that drives the black man. That's the one I'm going to pick because that makes me seem progressive. But really, it's the most backwardly. It's terrible. But is it really surprising? Because my grandpa might have chose Green Book too.
Do you think like there's a bunch of old Academy voters sitting around saying they nominated Joker and like they're all mad about it, like saying, what did people want? They wanted me to nominate Dark Knight. They wanted me to nominate X,
yes,
Y, and Z.
yes.
And now I give it to
they're
them.
very proud of themselves
Yeah.
for Joker. They're proud of them. They're patting themselves on the back for Joker, but Joker is a ridiculous movie, and they skipped over so many outstanding films that came out this year by minorities, by women, and I don't understand why they're going to nominate Quentin Tarantino for not getting out of his comfort zone. He made a straight up Tarantino movie. Scorsese for not getting out of his comfort zone. He made a Scorsese movie. All these people are just making the same fucking movie they've been making forever and getting nominated for it. They're not stretching themselves as artists. They're not doing anything different. They're not growing. They're doing the same shit. Why don't you nominate somebody who's trying to do something different, trying to give us a different perspective on things? Come on. Like, it's ridiculous. Is that really what these awards are about? People doing the same things for 20 odd years and still getting rewarded for it?
I mean, I think that goes back to my point, though. And then I'll stop talking. We can kick it off to James and Lady Wan, since the three of us are just rambling. The three middle-aged white guys are like arguing with each other.
Yeah.
I didn't ramble.
Weird. So weird.
Yeah. But the whole thing is just like that encapsulates my entire point, JC. Like, why do we even care? Like, why are we wasting our time? Like, the Oscars are not relevant. I mean, do I care who won the SAG Awards or the Directors Guild of America Awards or any of the other, half a dozen award shows that are happening right now? No. And it's not going to change my opinion on any of this stuff. So, I mean, look at a Green Book. Does that thing have legs? Is it going to be talked about? It's not talked about now. It's not going to be talked about in a decade.
It's hated.
So, like, what's the point? It doesn't make any difference.
Because they made a film about a man so brave, a black man so brave, he's willing to go to the South. All right, fine, forget it. Forget Green Book, forget everything. But why do the Globe seem so with it? Like nominating the right movies, awarding people like Awkwafina for outstanding performances. And then as soon as it gets to the Oscars, everything comes to a screeching halt and gets ass backwards. I don't get it. The Academy Awards are broken. They're broken. And that's why they're a huge, huge joke. And they'll continue to be a huge joke as long as they're just a bunch of old white dudes picking movies.
Golden Globes are broken too. Lady Wan, what do you have to say?
I agree that it's ridiculous to get infuriated by it year after year. It's like, I mean, it is a bunch of grandpas. It's like being mad that your grandpa's racist every year at Thanksgiving. Like, he's not going to change. Like,
exactly.
It's grandpa. But at the same time,
awesome.
It is really, really demoralizing when there are movies that could get something out of this. Like, if The Farewell had been nominated for Best Picture, that would have made a huge difference to that movie. People who hadn't heard about it would have heard about it now. People are going to see Parasite who weren't going to see it before. Like, it makes a difference to certain movies, and for them to be ignored systematically is just it's just not helping make movies any more different. And no, the Oscars shouldn't be the be all end all. It's an award ceremony that was made up for themselves to award themselves. It's self-congratulatory bullshit, but it does become the standard for anybody who's like a casual movie person. Like, oh, that won an Oscar? I should watch it. And I think we're too inside baseball to understand the difference it could make to an actor or a director or a movie's shelf life. It can make a huge difference for somebody's career. And we know those awards are garbage, but like a lot of people don't know. And it's a bummer that the same people are going to win them every year.
I agree.
Well said, Lady Wan.
James?
Yeah, I'm always torn between, I would never say I love the Oscars, but I always find myself say I hate the Oscars. But I can never find myself saying I don't care about the Oscars because we just spent 30 minutes talking about the Oscars. We'll do it the year after. We'll do it a year after that. We'll do it a year after that.
Yep.
As soon as award winners come out or nominations come out, we check to see who made it, who didn't. So it's kind of hard to say I don't care about the Oscars. It sucks that it's broken. It sucks that, it kind of ruins a movie's shelf life. But I care about the Oscars. I'm going to watch it this year, and I care about who wins. And it may not matter to the casual fans, but it matters to actors and it matters to directors. And that's why it's important. And yeah, I don't really know a right answer or a right way to fix it besides, these voters phasing out and getting some new blood in there. But the Oscars does matter. And I enjoy watching it. But yeah, I understand that everybody's complaints with it, but I'll be tuning in.
Do you think that like all the think pieces, so all the films that you just mentioned that have been snubbed, like The Farewell or which I haven't seen and I hear is great.
It's amazing.
But all of the things that don't get nominated get more as much or more press than the things that did. So I mean, is that again?
No. Well, I
so.
think again to Lady Wan's point.
Exactly.
Maybe like we pay attention to the ones that didn't get, but my great aunt Betty.
Well, no, but I mean, I was at my parents' house and Entertainment Tonight was on, or Today's Show was on when my wife had it on in the morning, and they spent all their time talking about the ones that didn't get nominated. They talked about the snubs.
That happens year after year, and we have to realize that the Oscars is a political race. Just like your presidential candidate may not get elected. It's all about politics. So, I mean, it's fun to see these people rooting or running to try to win these awards. And it's kind of hard not to check out because you want to see who wins. But it's just like a political race. And, I mean, you just have to run with it until they figure out a way to fix it. And honestly, I don't think they give a fuck about fixing it. So, we just have to
Apparently, they don't because Oscars is still so white and so male.
But Parasite getting nominated kind of has me interested in seeing the future of the Oscars. Also them paying attention to, you guys don't like it, but I liked it. The Joker finally got some recognition for possibly being I wouldn't say the best comic book movie ever made, but a comic book movie that was recognized by the Academy. So they are making steps moving forward and trying to be nuanced and stuff like that. So if we be patient with it, maybe there's some bright stuff in our future.
I wish I could be as positive as you are about that. All right. Well, I think
you guys are going to have the same conversation next year, so I don't understand.
We'll see.
Exactly.
You may very well be correct about that.
Well,
Lupita Nyong'o's a snub. Lulu Wang is a snub.
J-Lo.
Dude, Laura Dern, why? You know why?
She has that one really good monologue.
So she has one good monologue. And by the way, her parents are famous actors. She's totally Hollywood insider. God.
Eddie Murphy, Dolomite, in the costume design for Dolomite, or the Irishman in a heartbeat.
Would you say the snubs will probably make a better list than the ones that got nominated?
Yes.
You know what?
I forget who said it.
Because again, most of our, especially the friggin' director category. Oh my God. It's so many directors doing the same shit they always do. And I don't understand why we're going to be like, oh, you did the same shit you always do. Nomination. It's ridiculous.
I forget who said it, but I saw a tweet on Twitter, and they were saying based off the snubs, you could tell what movie was good. And
that's hilarious.
I couldn't agree with that even more. You have Farewell, Uncut Gems. I heard Hustlers was pretty good. I haven't seen it yet, and Honey Boy. So those movies not making the list makes me want to see them even more.
I think this is the worst year for costume design. Other than Little Women, they're all just clothes. This is horrendous. It is the worst.
That's a good take.
Regular clothes. It's terrible.
That's a good take.
Terrible.
But you know what's really typically good award ceremony wise? The Independent Spirit Awards. I tend to agree with a lot more than the Oscars, unfortunately. All right.
So every year I do a Oscars pick'em sheet, and I do it with a group of people. I would like all of you to join me this year in that, and we'll come up with a prize. Whoever gets the most right. Thinking like an old white man.
Once I think I got, what was the most I ever did, Matt? I got 3 wrong or something.
Yeah, Chris used to pride himself on being right every time. And then
that's because Chris is an old white man.
I got my ass kicked last year.
The year that he lost, he's like, no, I don't want to do it anymore.
Do it? Oh, we're still doing it, baby. Don't you? We're still doing it.
Are you guys doing? Oh yeah, you just said you were doing predictions, right? I kind of want to hear your takes on Best Actor.
Yeah, usually a week out we do our who will win and who should have won. Who should win?
Yeah.
Although I was looking at some of the nominations and I was looking at Best Actress. I was like, well, I've seen one of these, so by default, she's the Best Actress.
The actress from was it Harriet? Was like the one minority in either category.
Yeah, it did feel like we need to find somebody.
It's disgusting. Like you couldn't nominate someone from The Farewell or someone from Parasite. Like, do they hate Asians? What the hell is wrong with them?
Dolomite is my name. Good Times or Loose. Yep. I mean, Octavia Spencer. I don't know how many of you saw Loose, but she's great in that. And basically Loose, which is Listen to Black Women, the movie. It is. Anyway, all right. Well, that was fun. I think I only got mad at Matt a couple times. I don't think I've been mad at you like that in a while.
Matt's letting it rip this pod.
Look, I honestly like this, Chris. I love you, but this podcast is just driving all the joy of movies out of my body. So I just can't. I don't care about the Oscars at all.
Matt, let's talk about horror movies. Right? let's get you back into your happy place.
Sad. We'll have to. Okay. Don't quit. I don't have any friends.
You've got 3 replacements right here. That's what we're.
All right. Well, Matt and I are gonna tell you what our 10 through 6 favorite films were from.
Oh, sorry, the guests. We'll just sit back here and pick. You guys do your 10 through 6.
You can make fun of us
and make sounds in the background.
Exactly.
We get to heckle. We get to heckle.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So here's one that didn't make my list, and I'm gonna try not to cry.
Bloody dangerous riding with that. Blow your head off.
You need to move. Move, boy!
Wait, will ya? Wait! Go the wrong way if you want. Them soldiers went this way.
So that is Aisling Franciosa and Bakale Ganabar from Jennifer Kent's The Nightingale, her follow-up to The Babadook. It's an Australian period piece about revenge and horror, and it is a very, very tough sit. Kent does not pull any punches in that film whatsoever. The first half hour or so, I was wincing a few times. But it's also a fantastic kind of statement on imperialism and how the native people were treated by the English. And it is a real piece of work. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, it didn't quite make the cut for me. Matt, why don't you go ahead? We'll go as fast as we can, rip off the Band-Aid for you. Give me number 10, your 10th favorite film of 2019.
So my number 10, I did not give this an A or A- grades. This is one of my cheats. But the more I thought about it, the more I liked it. I've watched it a few times since we saw it, which is, I can't say for many of these. It's Gasparno's latest mindfuck of Climax. This is basically a French dance troupe. They're getting ready to kind of embark on a tour together, and somebody spikes the punch, and it deliriously disintegrates into like this hellish mindscape of just insanity. And it's every year I seem to have a movie where I don't know if I like it the first time I watch it, but I can't stop thinking about it, and that's this movie. And I've decided that it's one that stuck with me. So Climax.
I did a live stream on Facebook earlier this week about assembling my top 10. I had to go through all the lists because you had even pointed out that I gave out a lot of A's this year. And A's and A minuses, and I really did. I got to really have some serious
I thought this year sucked.
Me too. I don't think it was a very good year.
I think this is one of the best years since 2007. I really loved this year.
Statement.
Disagree.
Yeah.
So
Hard to disagree here, man.
Yeah, that's 3 out of 5. What do you
I
got,
couldn't
James?
come up with 10.
Good
I
year,
haven't
bad
changed
year.
it for
I enjoyed
us.
2019.
Gary.
Yeah.
I thought 2019 was pretty solid.
Thank
pretty
you.
Solid. Pretty
Especially
solid.
after 2018. Oh my god.
well, yeah. And then what Moonlight La La Land year was pretty good. Okay. My number 10 then is Shinichiro Uada's One Cut of the Dead, a movie I've been begging Matt to watch. It's been streaming on Shudder for a few months now.
Right.
But makers of a low-budget zombie film are shooting in an abandoned water filtration plant. They're making a zombie movie, and then a zombie outbreak hits. And this thing is a joy. It is hilarious, and if you love movies and how movies are made, you will get such a gas out of this thing. It's the acting at times is deliberately bad, and there's a big reveal at the. I don't want to say anything about it, but it is a low-budget film that came out of Japan a couple years ago. I don't know officially what its U.S. release date is. I saw it last year at the Gasparilla Film Festival, and I absolutely fell in love with this thing. So it's my number 10. Did any of you guys catch up with One Cut of the Dead?
I saw it. It's a better one shot than 1917.
Shots fired.
Seriously.
Number 9, Matt.
Number 9, I don't think this is going to appear on anybody's list, but I have a soft spot for hard sci-fi, even though it's boring and there's a lot of staring off into the middle distance, but I liked it. Ad Astra, Brad Pitt going out into the universe to collect a wayward father. Yes, it's a hoary trope, but like I said, I'm a sucker for hard sci-fi, and I appreciate the effort they put into that. So that gets its number 9 vote for me.
We did that one on ScreenFix also, and I called it the most artistic, shitty action movie I'd ever seen.
Come on, it's got space monkeys and moon pirates. I don't know how you could have anything bad to say about
you
Ad
need?
Astra.
Like, seriously.
Who does space experiments with the most dangerous monkey alive, the baboon?
Well, you got to know.
Those guys?
I don't know what you got to know.
What if it's a dangerous, like, extra?
That was the most studio note moment in a movie this year, probably. Well, it's a little too artistic and cerebral. Have a baboon attack everybody in space, like a friggin' studio note. It was so bad. Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Oh, and also I love the moment that Natasha Leone shows up in full Brooklyn accent to admit Brad Pitt into the Mars colony. Hey, you want in here? Come in. All right. What's your name? We'll let you in, sweetheart. Go ahead. It's my smoke break.
You're missing the forest for the trees, man.
So my number 9 is the Safdie Brothers Uncut Gems. Adam Sandler delivers what I think should have been an Oscar-nominated performance. Is one of the more intense viewing experiences I've had for the past 10 years or so. Truly bad people indulging their worst impulses, consequences be damned, until those consequences catch up with them. It is an insane 90 or 2-hour trip, and it does not let go of you throughout the entire runtime. So I really enjoyed it, much more than my co-host, and I think some of the people here as well. But I loved me some Uncut Gems, number 9.
Did we talk about Uncut Gems on the episode that I was on?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So you get it.
Don't
You
remember
feel very strong.
ranting about it.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm sorry. I talk a lot. I don't remember what I said, when, and where.
I still remember who I said it to.
Oh my god.
Spends a lot of time just ranting to the wind.
Yes.
Old man yells at clouds. All right.
That's me when I'm older. You call these clouds?
For my number 8, I think was my favorite comedy of the year. I think I had to include it just because I said it was my favorite film of the first half of the year, which is Booksmart.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not a groundbreaking premise in another high school buddy comedy kind of thing, but the execution I thought was fantastic. It's the best, like I said, best comedy that I saw all year. So just check it out.
I'm glad you mentioned that, man, because a lot of people are like knocking that because it's supposed to be a super bad ripoff. But I'm like, what movie isn't a ripoff anymore? Like, shut the fuck up.
Like, not only is it kind of a super bad ripoff, but it's got Beanie Feldman, which is
Jonah
Hill's sister. So it's like, but anyway,
he's not playing a character at all like his in Superbad. They're very different characters.
Yes. But it's like I absolutely love Booksmart as well. I 100% agree. That's actually in my top 5.
It's in my top 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Booksmart.
so good.
There's an honorable mention for me. Unfortunately, Matt didn't make the cut.
Of course it is. You probably have some highfalutin movie about someone gardening, woman blossoming into womanhood.
We're never going to get through this. My number 8 is The Farewell. Lulu Wang's film dealing with kind of the cultural divides and family strife as this family debates whether or not to tell the matriarch that she is gravely ill. Awkwafina, kind of, for me, came out of nowhere with this nuanced, kind of sorrowful and at times life-affirming kind of performance. I loved The Farewell. It was very sweet, very funny, very sad at times.
That's your number 8?
And I really enjoyed this thing. I was going through. I had to be true to myself. I gave it an A. This is the first A of my list, and it was one of the best films I saw all year. So The Farewell is my number 8.
I think The Farewell is the best all-around movie of this year. It gives you everything, and it's wonderful.
Spoiler alert. Okay.
You haven't seen it, have you?
Yeah, I have. In fact, we have a guy that we call Red Bob instead of Red Box, and he's the kind of guy who can get you things.
Ooh. We don't have those up here.
And he got me The Farewell.
I'm going to try not to be scared. Matt, what is your number 7?
Number 7 is the second, my second favorite of the 1-2 family punch of dysfunctional families is Waves. Sterling K. Brown, Kelvin Harrison star in the story of a South Florida family dealing with kind of tragedy and the realities of living down in America's penis in Florida.
Thank you for that. Really.
By the way,
I said our guests here. Even though I will point out I'm also from Florida, I just got out. That's all.
I'm here for anything with Sterling K. Brown in it. I think he is one of the best actors working today.
I love watching him chew gum.
How he's not nominated also. Jesus Christ, like Sterling K. Brown deserves every award all the time because he's always acting circles. He's always acting circles around everybody that is. I feel bad for other people that are in shows and movies with him because he's acting circles around all of them.
What was the one? Did he play Sia? What was he in that he played Sia? Sorry,
I don't even know what that means.
The singer,
like
Sia.
The singer Sia.
Yeah,
he played her.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Wait, this is a dream you had, Matt.
The alternate universe, bro.
And I'm pretty sure.
Is this a Bernstein
you
Bears
will,
thing?
and I'm sure your sheets were sweaty.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna prove you guys right that I'm not crazy. Continue.
I'm old. I haven't heard a single Billie English song, and I just found out today she's doing the new James Bond
Billie
theme.
English, Eilish.
Eilish, see?
You old white.
She is.
The old white bitch.
Do you have any idea how old I am?
She was.
I don't know how old. I don't know how old. I'm just kidding.
She was Sia in that Lonely Island movie that came out on Netflix. That's where I saw it.
The pop star one.
Yeah, no, the one where they play Mark McGuire and then Jose Canseco, the Bash Brothers back in the 80s.
God,
It's the unauthorized Bash Brothers experience.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. I like Popstar. I think that thing is hilarious.
Funny.
That's pretty good.
Anyway,
it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
There you go. Sterling K. Brown's good was in the last season of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel too. I don't know if you guys are watching that show.
Incredible.
No, he's amazing in every single solitary thing that he's in.
Just chewing gum.
That's right.
Chewing gum, and he loves it. Nobody chews gum like Sterling K. Brown.
I gotta be up. I gotta be work at 8:30 tomorrow. So
chews gum and chews up scenery. That's what Sterling K. Brown does.
Can I mute him somehow? My number 7 is Little Women. Greta Gerwig's reworking of the classic tale. I found it to be kind of sweet, heartbreaking, and endearing. I like the alternative kind of narrative structure. It just worked for me, where she marries these similar themes with their kind of same applicable moments, moving stuff around in time. And I thought the cast was all stellar. So I was really, another home run for me for Gerwig. First with Lady Bird, and then now with Little Women. My number 7.
Oh, my turn again?
Yes.
Yeah, number 6, 1917. Just go listen to the first part of the show.
My number 6 will probably make some of the other people, our guests on the show, upset.
I'm
and
ready.
that is Martin
Joker.
Scorsese's quiet, cerebral coda to his gangster work with The Irishman. I kind of felt it was the perfect capper to a genre that gave him and us as an audience so much, and features Joe Pesci's greatest performance.
Agree.
I loved it.
I'm still stuck on episode 1.
I actually agree. I think Joe Pesci has never been better. The way he exhibits such a quiet. He's like quietly forceful. Like he alternates between sweet, but he very much like combines this like sweet old man nature with, that if he wanted to, he could be evil as hell. And he balances that so well. He's so good in that movie. I also think The Irishman is a very, very, very good movie. So, yeah, some people agree with you here, Chris.
All right, that's the 10 through 6.
He shouldn't be nominated or any shit for it, but it's a very good movie.
Well, just after your diatribe about people redoing the same thing over and over again, that's
he shouldn't be nominated for it.
Irishman.
Oh, he should not be nominated
should
for
be
it.
nominated for it.
Oh.
But
He
the
should
fact that
100%.
Al Pacino is nominated alongside him and everything is bullshit.
Yeah, I know. Talk about overacting like the whole time.
Considered a great actor. He did it good one time as Marco Corleone, and that's it.
Twice.
He's stuck to everything since.
Yeah, his nomination is bullshit also.
Dog Day Afternoon, though? What about... All right, you guys, I swear to God. All right, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a break, come back, and you think this has been chaotic. We are all going to go our 5 through 1s after this clip from a film that didn't quite make the list for me, but seems to have gotten some love from the group.
Okay, so you're using your hair as a mask and trying to rob someone with no weapon. Because the funny thing is, I actually have a weapon. I keep that to protect myself from bad people, something you guys should be thinking about. Did the possibility of sexual assault ever enter your minds?
Not really.
Yeah, not really, I can tell. You're spending more time on like the hair and that whole part of it maybe, yeah. Cause we're like right by the freeway. I could have you across the state line in like 40 minutes, take you to some cabin, hog tie your ankles, leave you in a room with like a saucer of milk and videotape the whole thing for a couple days.
What?
Think about that.
What? No.
Book smart.
So good.
It still kills me. Olivia Wilde.
Best movie.
Directorial debut. Book smart. Okay. How do we want to do this? I guess, James, I feel like you've been short-shrifted so far, so why don't you start us off, and then we'll go the guests. We'll go James, we'll go JC, we'll go Lady Wan, Matt, and then I'll go last, because I am the god. James, number 5.
All right, real quick, my number 5 is Uncut Gems. I'm a huge fan of the Safdie brothers.
Nice.
Even though I thought Good Time was a better film than
Yeah, it is.
Uncut Gems, Adam Sandler was phenomenal in this movie. And Julia Fox, goddamn, that ass. Number 5.
Dang!
It's not
What
that kind of
the?
show.
Wait,
Okay.
wait! You can't say that because Chris is woke as hell.
That's right. So she has value now, James? Is that what
She
you're
has
saying?
a lot of assets. I'll just say that.
Oh! He doubled down.
Wild
card, bitches!
All right. JC, what do you got? Number 5.
My number 5 is a movie I haven't even seen, but I know it's good.
What?
I decided to go for it. I don't even care. Like I don't care. There is a dearth. Okay. There are so many movies that I don't like that much. So much so that I'm willing to pick for my number 5 something I haven't even seen yet, but I know that I'm gonna love it because I've watched clips from it and I've heard all the buzz about it. My number 5 is Honey Boy. Honey Boy, the story of kind of autobiographical, kind of not, directed by someone primarily known for the documentaries. This is her first non-documentary film, but it's kind of a biopic. Shia LaBeouf plays his own father in the movie, and if you have seen clips from this movie, my guy Red Bob has not been able to get this for me yet, and it's not anywhere that I can see it, and that's
Aren't
why
you
it's
an
not.
A-lister?
It's not there.
It was.
Yeah.
I know, but it was in and out. It was gone.
I got a feeling Matt may be talking about that in a little bit. Lady Wan,
Look,
number 5?
Honey Boy. My number 5 is Honey Boy, and I haven't even
You
seen
haven't even
it.
seen it.
That's how sad this year is.
Screams
That's how
integrity.
sad this
How
year
can
has
you?
been.
I'm going to run down all my honorable mentions when we're done, and I cannot believe. All right, fine. Lady, I'm don't know what's going to happen, but
Number
it's not gonna
5
be
is
pretty.
Honey Boy.
Lady Wan, number 5. Please.
Based on its boldness alone.
Shut up. You didn't even see it.
Thank you.
You're so ridiculous. All right. So my number 5 is JC's gonna like roll his eyes so hard everyone on the podcast will hear it. Is Captain Marvel.
Oh my god.
So despite not being over the moon with Brie Larson's performance, everyone else in it is fantastic. So I will tolerate her being nearly good in it. And I loved the message. I loved the action. I laughed. I cried. I can't wait for Captain Marvel 2 when they actually properly develop her character. But I love the movie. I had a great time. And going through making a top 10 list, there are so few movies I walked out of like just pumped, and this one I did.
I think when we talked about it on the show, I have some issues with that movie, but the last scene, but the climax, it absolutely nails it. It's probably one of the best climaxes in a Marvel film I've seen.
So good.
All right, Matt. I'm good with that. Number two. I want to
Number
get you down
2?
and out of here. Number 5, Matt.
So number 5, you know how I said Booksmart was my favorite comedy of the year? I lied. My favorite comedy of the year was The Art of Self-Defense, which we've talked about earlier. Jesse Eisenberg plays a brutalized young man, and then he joins a dojo. He gets brutalized by Imogen Poots, and it is hilarious. And I really enjoyed it. It's the best black comedy I've seen in a long time.
Good pick. My number 5 then is The Living Nightmare of Guilt and the Mistress That Is the Sea. It's Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. It's visually arresting and its kind of unique framing and its liberal use of kind of still imagery. I absolutely loved The Lighthouse. It was just so weird and off-putting and unsettling and, like I said, just weird.
Is that the animal abuse or the self-pleasure?
Well, yes. So I whittled myself my own Little Mermaid thing, too, so I'm very excited about that. And The Lighthouse, then, is my number 5. James, number 4.
My number 4 is The Joker. I know a lot of you guys are down on it, but I wouldn't say I absolutely loved it, but it was a really, really good film. Joaquin Phoenix did his thing. He's definitely getting a lot of nominations for this film. And honestly, I don't know if it's because this is a rendition of 2 of my favorite Scorsese films, Taxi Driver and King of the Comedy, which makes me love it so much. But I love it. I'm a huge Batman fan, and I'm a comic book geek. And to see comic book movies finally getting their due diligence and respect, I am so excited to have this in my top 4, and it's one of the best films of 2019.
I hope he wins the Oscar just so I can get another speech from him.
He's so socially awkward. It's funny.
Horrible. Number 4. JC.
All right, fine. Here we go. John Wick.
Have you seen this?
Yes, I've seen all the rest of them.
Okay.
John Wick Chapter 3. John Wick Chapter 3 is number 4. Gave me everything that I wanted from a movie, from an experience in the theater. I think its first 20 minutes of action are some of the best 20 minutes of action I've ever seen in my entire life. The scene where he's fighting all those guys in the museum of weapons, and he puts together a gun just to shoot a guy out of old parts, and then they have a fight having to smash display cases open and throw knives at each other. Gripping, amazingly choreographed. That movie was everything you could ever want in an action movie, and then some. John Wick Chapter 3. The Keanu Sans is here, and I hope it's here to stay. I hope it is here to stay.
Yeah, I think that may be the best action scene or set piece of the year.
So good.
I'm really happy JC picked that because when we were talking about this, doing a top 10 weeks ago, Chris quite dismissively said, "Oh, you're gonna put John Wick 3 on your list?" And I said, "Maybe I will." And he laughed at me with
Did I do? I don't. That doesn't sound like me.
Yeah, you even got Kevin in on that. I was like, Kevin, you're supposed to be on my side on this.
Look, my list is not full of art pieces where people discover their bodies and their emotions like Chris wants in all of his movies. Sometimes my list will just contain a solid, enjoyable popcorn flick. That's what I'm here for. Escapism, man.
And a
Escapism.
movie you haven't seen. I'm not letting it go.
Nice. Good times.
Good segue.
I'm done.
No, you're not. Don't even lie.
Return to form for Halle Berry. Stunt dogs. I am really done if somebody wants to go.
No, yeah, I'm fine with that. Lady Wan, you're number 4.
My number 4 is Toy Story 4.
Aww. How many cries?
Oh, 4?
This was a 4 tissue. You're going to give it 4 tissues?
This is some good crying. I skipped Toy Story 3 because I only heard it was emotionally devastating. So it was nice to be reunited with the toys. And the focus was on Bo Peep this time and about learning to let go. And it was just so cute, so funny. Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele are awesome additions to the Toy Story cast. It was great.
Who do they play?
They play like the worst stuffed animals that nobody wants to win at the carnival.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I like too how almost kind of creepy and scary it was too with the ventriloquist dummies.
They were terrifying, and then Christina Hendricks' baby doll character was so spooky. It was really great.
Mm-hmm. Matt
skipped 3 though, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the one part like teased, and I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to go
that
there.
end is a gut punch.
Yeah, we're like about to get
there.
incinerated.
Yeah, I'm not going there. And they all
You
accept
have
their
to.
fate. I can't accept my fate. I don't want to watch toys do it. I'm not in.
You have to.
I can't.
I skipped 3 too.
I'm grown enough yet.
I'm dead inside, and I almost cried at the end of that movie.
No, I did. That was a rough one.
Okay, so my number 4 is The Lighthouse. I'll just keep on the art house train. It's a crazy trip of a movie. Willem Dafoe is a delight. As soon as I heard "Why'd you spill your beans?" like obviously that's just something that's going to stay in the lexicon forever. So it's you could take any shot of that movie, put it in a frame, and it would be fit right up there on your wall. It's a beautiful film.
There you go. Speaking of which, Matt, I feel you and I are going to have some pretty similar lists, except for one, as we continue. Mm-hmm. My number 4, then, is The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Just watched that.
Yeah, it's currently available on Amazon Prime. This thing is just stunningly beautiful. It's like a lyrical painting kind of come to life that deals with gentrification and kind of the feeling of loss that in some ways, I think maybe we all kind of feel and we're desperately trying to fill in different kind of ways. And this thing just knocked me on my ass. I absolutely loved The Last Black Man in San Francisco. And I think it's going to come up a little bit, so that's all I'll say. But
it's a great soundtrack, too.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely have to stream it. My number 3 is my biggest snub of the Oscars, and that's The Farewell.
Yes.
This movie hits every single emotional beat. You will laugh, you will cry, you will just leave devastated, and it's so relatable, and it's just an awesome film. And it sucks because I feel like it kind of alludes to what Bong Joon-ho said about people not really willing to put themselves into reading subtitles, but it's a damn shame because this is probably one of the best movies of the year. Mm-hmm. And I think everyone should definitely see it. Awkwafina, oh my God. Like, I was down on her personality, like social media wise and, being all wild, but she toned it down in this film. She followed a really good performance in Crazy Rich Asians, and this is a really good film. Everybody should see it.
Yeah, she's great in both. And in this one, it's like she knows when to. She's never outrageous, but she's still funny when she needs to be funny, and then she's so devastatingly serious when she needs to be serious. It's really great. She shows range there,
and it's beautifully shot. Beautifully shot. A lot of oh my God, the shots in this film are fucking fantastic. I actually loved everything about this, man.
Lulu Wang is the biggest snub of the Oscars.
For sure. Hands down.
Did you know her and Barry Jenkins were dating? I had no idea until today.
Yeah, I think you tweeted that earlier.
I was shocked.
I was shocked too. I was like, oh damn, they're like taking sake shots and shit. That's pretty cool.
JC.
Yeah. We're on number 3?
Yes, sir.
We've already talked about this, but my number 3 is Booksmart. It's one of the only movies that I can say that I watched this year that I left absolutely loving almost everything about it, from the hilarious scenes involving Carrie Fisher's daughter,
Billy Lord.
Billy Lord. Like Billy Lord is absolutely hilarious in it, and just everything that takes place in that party, whether it's the delicate balance of being nervous, first love, having a crush on someone, and then the soundtrack as well. Like, I'm just here for the pool scene alone, which had the big reveal at the end of it. I was completely engulfed in this movie. And I think it should be a classic. And let's hope it is. And let's hope it means good things, because this movie was competent, stylish, and emotionally relevant, and also relevant to the modern age today. It treated gay characters as not strange, not outliers, but just like another type of person and another type of love. And I liked that. Book smart.
Very good. Ms. Wan?
That was my number 3 too.
Yay!
So good.
It's rigged.
My absolute favorite kind of movie is a movie that happens in a day. Like, that's like, I'm obsessed with movies that happen in a day. So I love this movie. I thought it was fantastic. And the soundtrack, I subscribed to that playlist on Spotify immediately. It's so good. And yeah, Billy Lord like steals the whole movie. I wanted to just keep watching where she ends up the rest of forever. Like, that character was so funny. Gigi, she's the best.
And the other guy's great too. The one who plays the misunderstood rich kid.
The weird rich kid. Yeah.
The weird rich kid. He's
having a yacht party.
Yes.
So good.
So fantastic. That movie was so satisfying.
I want to go watch it right now.
Yeah, high five me.
Boom.
Matt.
You guys did a force clap like Ray and
yeah, we forced time just now.
Ben Solo.
My number 3 is a film that I did see, and that's Honey Boy. So I agree with JC's number 5 choice.
Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, it is. It's a fantastic film. It's heartbreaking, gets you in the feels, and it really solidified Shia LaBeouf crossing the tail line for me. And guys, if you haven't watched his interview on Hot Ones, go out at YouTube Hot Ones, watch the Shia LaBeouf interview. It's very, very good.
Are you guys familiar with the Tatum line?
Obviously not.
Okay, just briefly.
Like Channing?
Yes. So Channing Tatum was an actor we did not care for at all. And then we saw him in 21 Jump Street, and we absolutely fell in love with him. So now whenever an actor or somebody who we didn't previously like and we do like now, we say they've crossed the Tatum line.
Oh.
So there you go. I think it's one of the more clever things I'm proud of that we ever came up with on the show.
I like
And
it.
now you three
Tatum
are
line.
the first people to ever hear it. So there you go.
I like it. I will use it in mixed company, who will not know what I'm talking about.
Good times.
Because when's the last time Channing Tatum wasn't anything relevant? So
Okay. My number 3.
Jesse J. Sorry, that was inappropriate.
My number 3 is Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. His love letter to the end of the Hollywood era, the classic Hollywood era. I think an exceptionally strong work by the 3 leads of that film. I struggle with the whole supporting stuff with Brad and Margot. And I think a finale that QT absolutely knocks you on your ass with. He nails that finale. There's this kind of contemplative thing where I know Lady Wan had fallen asleep a few times with all the endless driving of Brad Pitt through Hollywood.
I was getting car sick.
But I really enjoyed this thing a lot. And yeah, it's my number 3.
My number 2 is the culmination of 10 years of cinema.
Ooh.
With a really spectacular ending that's kind of everybody kind of fell off on over the course of the year. My second film of the year is Avengers Endgame, and I don't understand why it's getting so much hate right now. It wasn't the perfect film, but goddamn, that ending last 30 minutes. And the way it ended, I cried so
yeah, me too.
much,
Okay,
bro.
listen, like no one's giving this movie enough credit for just
none.
Because like I've never sat in a theater. This was the movie in my lifetime where I heard an entire theater of people uncontrollably cheer out loud because they couldn't help it. And just for that alone, this should be on everyone's list. Like, because
Yeah.
when's the last, like, no movie does that. Makes an
None.
entire theater spontaneously erupt.
And it may never happen again. And for me
Exactly.
to like actually, tell my kids whenever they watch this film, like, you should have been there, kind of reminiscent of being in like the theaters when Star Wars came out, or, movies of legend. This was our century's Star Wars 1 episode, 4 or whatever. So I was glad I was there. I fucking laughed. I cried. I cheered on my favorite superheroes. And for this movie just gets shunned out of all the wars and all talk just because film Twitter and sounding like a cinephile and all that. It's a damn shame, but that's my number 2.
Excellent choice, James.
Love it.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes. That I'm a what am I? I'm a Generation X, right, Matt?
Yeah.
And
Easily, Chris.
And I feel like that's part of. I liked Endgame. It's not in my top 10. It wasn't even an honorable mention for me. I enjoyed it. I get it, but it's like, I think it's a generational. That is your guys, like it was my Empire Strikes Back or my Raiders of the Lost Ark. I guess maybe that
What are you
is
talking
what
about?
these
You were
films
like
are.
2 when that came out.
What, Raiders? I wish.
Yes.
No, he was not. He's a lot older than you think.
Raiders is what, 81?
Yeah, he was old enough to go see that. Yes.
You had to be like 4, dude.
Almost.
That's not your end game. That's no way.
Now, so Chris, have you seen Endgame since it came out? Because I was not.
No, I haven't.
I didn't love it when I first saw it, but I've seen it a couple times since, and I actually like it better every single time I watch it.
Good.
It really does grow on you. For sure.
The New York 2012 sequence is one of the funniest, most clever, amazing
Is that the America's
scene
ass thing?
in any movie. Well, that
That's just part of
entire
it.
sequence, that's just part of it. The whole thing is so amazing. It's some of the most clever writing I've seen in a movie all year.
Yeah,
I got the 4K for when it was Christmas on Black Friday. So I have to watch it again. I want to kind of go through all of them again. It's just more a matter of how much. Where's the time?
Just
So
the
the two
execution
Avengers?
of how they stuck the
Yeah.
landing is just it's so hard to pull that off. Everybody has to have screen time. Everybody has to have lines, and you have to bring people back. But the way they pulled that off was fucking phenomenal, bro. Like,
So James,
Yeah.
I have I actually have my whole top 10, and Endgame was my number 6.
okay, I respect that. At least it's on your list.
Yeah, it was.
Damn shame, guys. Damn shame.
I'm sorry. I will resign after this. After
James-
we get through these last 2, and I'll resign.
Yeah, and I'm a pretentious prick. Don't.
I see that. Damn. Not even
I
honorable
see
mention.
that.
Not even an honorable mention. Damn.
Well, we haven't gotten to our honorable mentions yet.
No, but
No,
I
you
said
said
it
it,
wasn't. It wasn't in
You
mine.
said it.
Wow.
It should be. You're right. It should be.
Damn.
I should probably throw
It's not in your honorable
Homecoming
mentions,
as well.
Chris?
You know what it is? No, the problem
Respectful.
is all my honorable mentions were just A's.
Oh,
Or A minuses that didn't make the cut. I threw in
you're
a.
fired.
So you're right. I'll throw in it is an honorable
you.
mention. That
No,
so
don't
is-
do it for us.
No, you're
I'm
right.
an
It should
MCU
be.
shill. I am an MCU shill, and my job here is done.
And so
Don't
is
worry, James.
real
His-
reason?
His honorable mention is the souvenir tripod.
Spider-Man: Homecoming, or I mean, Far From Home would be an honorable mention too. That
The real reason is because Chris is a DC fanboy and he desperately wants them to be better, and he refuses.
I am too.
no.
though. I am too, but hey, it is what it is. Batman
Makes me
2020. The new Batman's gonna be so.
By the
awesome.
way, my guilty pleasure is Aquaman.
That movie is
Whoa.
trash.
I'll
dude.
just say it.
Whoa,
I'll
whoa.
just say it.
Trash.
I'm just saying it.
He
My
said
guilty pleasure.
He feels bad about it, but he
My guilty pleasure is Aquaman. It's guilty.
It's so bad.
where
do
are we?
this,
I'm
Chris?
I'm lost.
okay.
It is
you're
my
on,
turn.
JC,
It's
right?
my turn, and
Yes,
my
JC's
number
turn,
2.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We've already talked about this. I love Quentin Tarantino. This movie was awesome. It's fantastic. Of course, it's, some people, I've actually read some stuff that's like, if it didn't have the ending, it wouldn't be very good,
Wow.
but it's just part of this is part of Quentin Tarantino's revisionist history trilogy that he's going through here. One of my favorite movies of all time is Inglourious Basterds, which is another revisionist history film. I love that he's doing this. Nobody is doing this kind of film at all. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's making like homages to films of the past and eras of the past, and also like revising the like mistakes of history. It's such a weird like path to take as a filmmaker, but he's taken that path of like, I'm going to make extremely violent, funny, artistic, revisionist history films, and he's doing it, and I think it is pretty bold. And my number 2 movie is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I can't really disagree with you there. Most mine to 3. Lady W, what up?
My number 2 is Marriage Story.
Oh,
it was so good. Like, I don't even feel like I have to explain this because it gets all the nominations. Like, it's so nuanced. It's one of those that like you gotta rewatch it because there's just things going on in the background, and like the tiniest things the characters are doing are saying everything about them, and it's just so good. The leads are amazing, and all of the lawyers, Ray Liotta, Alan Alda, Laura Dern, like they're all killing it. It's so good, and it really just like Adam Driver's amazing. Just give him everything. He's a power human. I loved it. Loved it.
Good pick.
All right. My number 2 is Last Black Man in San Francisco. It's one of the few films this year that I can truly say that I actually just was transfixed to the thing the whole time. I actually feel like I had to twist Chris's arm a little bit to go see this because I kept mentioning it and he kept kind of putting me off on something else. But
because he's got the mind of an Oscar voter.
I guess. I suppose so, Chris. I don't know. Have the rest of you guys seen it? Have you seen it yet?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's really good. It's streaming, so you should check it out.
Yes.
It's
Where's it streaming at?
Good. I think it's on.
It's Amazon. It's on
I think it's
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's where I found it.
So definitely go check it out. You will not be disappointed.
So my number 2 is a film we actually haven't done for the show yet. It's not.
Ooh.
It's
Not
it's going to get a domestic release here in February. It's Celine Sciamma's, and I'm sure I'm butchering that name, Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
I've seen so many year-end articles talking about that movie, and I haven't seen it. What is this movie, Chris?
So there's this woman who is being married off to an Italian rich guy. This is in the 1800s. And part of the process is there is a portrait of you waiting for you at the home before you get there once you marry the guy. And this young woman is hired to paint this lady in her portrait, but she won't do it because she doesn't want to marry the guy. And there's some circumstances that kind of around that explain certain things that I just don't want to kind of spoil for anybody. She's hired to pretend to kind of be more of her friend and then try and paint her when she's when the woman goes to sleep, and she kind of takes little sketches on her hand or little notes when she's not looking to kind of get the angles and the faces and stuff. And as the two of them spend more time together, they fall in love.
Oh, this is a Chris movie.
Yeah, and it's a stunning film about love and loss and what the power of love can do to us, how it can torture us, how it can set us free. It's beautifully shot. It's full of kind of really, truly wonderful ideas. This thing floored me. Like, there was 3 separate times where I actually went, like, it kind of took my breath away for a moment. I was just, it's brilliant. I absolutely loved this thing. Unfortunately, France decided to go with Les Miserables for their nomination for Best Foreign Language Film, and that is actually up for an Oscar. And I haven't seen that, but I've seen this, and it is wonderful. So it's my number 2.
I have to seek that out. My number 1, for me personally, I feel like there's only one correct answer for this.
Oh, shit.
And that's Parasite. This movie is so genre. You like sci-fi? Here you go. You like horror? Here you go. You like drama? There's some of that too. Like everything that Bong Joon has come up with this from filmography. Snowpiercer, The Host, Okja. This is the pinnacle of Bong Joon-ho, and the cast in here is phenomenal. It'll have you on the edge of your seat. It'll have you crying. It's everything. I fucking love Parasite, and I hope it wins Movie of the Year. I haven't seen all the ones that been on in the nominations, like Ford Ferrari. I honestly do not want to see that, but there's a few that I still have to see. But I honestly think Parasite is the best movie of 2019.
JC.
Yeah, James, Parasite was my number 7. So I'm
Number
right
7.
there with it. It was number 7. Yes, Parasite. It's not. I absolutely love South Korean cinema, and is not. It's up there in the pantheon of South Korean cinema, but it's not. But I love it. The thing I love about Parasite the most is that it crossed over to American cinema, and like people really need to take notice that there are other films and other filmmakers out there besides the Hollywood studio system. So I love when a movie like Parasite crosses over. Hopefully it opens up the world of South Korean cinema, which I think is some of the best cinema there is in the world.
I agree.
To people.
It's 7.
So yeah, it was 7. Well, because I got to be real to me. Like
But it's
when
behind
I left,
a movie you
like,
haven't seen.
Yeah, it's like when I like when I left the movie. What did it make me feel?
Well, that was the wrong one.
Right.
I dropped the wrong clip.
So anyway.
I meant to give you this one.
Good day, sir.
Behind one you hadn't seen.
I still stand behind Honey Boy. But anyway, my number 1, I think, is obvious to anyone that has heard me talk about this. It is one that I saw recently, and I was like, I can't believe I didn't see this before. It was The Farewell. I think The Farewell is the most over. The Farewell is the best overall picture. I just feel like it has everything you want in a movie. Like, not only is it funny when it needs to be funny and emotionally heartbreaking when it needs to be emotionally heartbreaking, the script is outstanding. The film itself, I think we were talking about this, James, like it's shot so beautifully.
It's like a photo book.
Artfully. It's so wonderful. So it just really has everything. And not only that, but it deals with a culture other than my own and getting like immersed in their ideals. And it just really, and that's what I think the best films should do, is like open me up to an experience that is not my own and brings me into that world for a minute and helps me understand. And I mean, the screenplay is fantastic. I mean, there's a scene where the mom is asking Billy, how many wontons do you want? And she's like, 5 wontons. And the mom's like, that's not enough. And she's like, okay, make it a dozen. And the mom's like, 10 is good. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so funny. It's like, it's that weird thing. Like, okay, you're not eating enough, but that's too much. And let's, and then that was just such great wordplay. And I love the ambiguous ending where, does Nine know? And that like lingering, heartbreaking shot of them driving away, and Nine kind of breaks. You see her; she's way in the distance, but you can see her breaking down. And at that point, you kind of understand that like Nine knew why Billy visited and why all this was going on, and it's heartbreaking. It's devastating. It's so good. It's such a wonderfully nuanced film. I think that has everything you want in cinema. The Farewell. I love that movie.
Very good. Lady Wan, you're number 1.
My number 1, I am somehow more of a shill than you, James. It's Endgame, man. I'm wearing it right now. I saw that 5 times in the theater.
Wow.
Yeah.
You even went to see the version with the added stuff.
Yeah, and then my theater played the wrong one. So I sat, the showing started an hour late. And then as it finished, we all kind of looked at each other like, are you kidding? Are you kidding?
There was nothing new.
It didn't start until like 9:30 on a Friday night. So I'm walking out of there at midnight. We're all livid because we all were there to see the extra scenes. And we just go to the cash register and there's this poor like 15-year-old kid like, I don't know, man, it's midnight. Like the manager's not even here. And we're just like, what are we going to do? Like, oh, I was furious. However, still cried a bunch of times. Still laughed. I appreciated the movie so much at the time. It is a cinema experience I will never get again. And I feel like I have come back even more to appreciating it after how disappointing Rise of Skywalker was. That I got no emotional satisfaction from somebody attempting to wrap up 9 movies. And this movie wrapped up 10 years of movies and just hit everything possible. Like that is an accomplishment in filmmaking like beyond anything, and nobody's talking about it.
It'll never happen again, ever.
No,
Marcus and
never.
McFeely deserved an Oscar nomination for their screenplay for Endgame.
It's perfect.
Seriously.
I don't think I've ever seen a film 5 times at the theaters. I think the most was, I think I saw The Dark Knight 3 times.
This is not even the one I've seen the most in the theater. That's the embarrassing part.
Well, come on. What's that then?
Well, I saw Spider-Man 8 times, like the first one, the first Tobey Maguire one.
Oh my God.
I saw Pirates of the Caribbean 13 times.
Oh. What in the hell? In the theater?
In the theater.
Were you like the richest middle schooler in town?
That or you just had horrible parents?
Thank you, high schooler. Literally all of my babysitting money went to going to see Pirates. I would have to go see it on Sunday morning, so it would be cheaper. I would go like Tuesday night, so it would be cheaper. Yeah. My friends got me a bootleg DVD, like while it was still out in the theater, because they're like, "We're tired of going with you. Just watch it at home."
Wait, is Jack Sparrow responsible for you blossoming into womanhood?
Maybe.
Gross.
13. That's impressive.
I was into it. Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like get a tattoo level or some kind of crazy
Luckily, I was only 17, so I couldn't make a terrible decision like that.
Fair enough. Matt?
My number one, I have to agree with James. It's Parasite.
Hey,
as soon as I walked out of the, as soon as I walked out of the theater, I said, "You know what? This is the one. This is the one. I'm not going to see a better film this year." And that proved out to be true. And it's going to get the Roma treatment. It's not going to win.
Exactly.
It'll win best. It'll get best foreign language film, but it's not going to win Best Picture.
Which infuriates me because I agree with both of you that Parasite is the best film of 2019. His tale of basically indictment of class and inequality, it's sadly timeless. And it keeps you off balance, right? It keeps you guessing the whole time. And there's just some stunning performances in which basically is this kind of grim fairy tale come to life. I'm really disappointed that, none of these actors or actresses, well, I should say, none of these actors got any recognition by the Academy for their performances. And Matt's right. It's going to be Roma all over again. And it's disappointing. The Roma's getting a Criterion release. I know people say, well, it's on Netflix, but I'm telling you.
By the way, am I the only one who absolutely loves Roma?
No, we love it as
well. No, I love Roma. It was great.
I think Roma's outstanding.
But I'll definitely
after 15 minutes.
Really?
I tried so hard. I was just on my phone and I couldn't. I was like, no, I'm out. I bailed.
Fair enough.
I wish I could have seen it in theaters though, but I'd take Netflix. But back to Parasite.
Yeah.
Out of all the movies that attempted the same narrative from 2019, like Us and Joker, I feel like Parasite executed it the best. It showed the establishing shot was, I think it was socks hanging from a ceiling trying to dry and them trying to steal Wi-Fi from their neighbors. And just from beginning to end, you kind of put yourself in, poverty, and you finally infiltrate this rich family and you manipulate them, and then it's your downfall in the end. But beginning to end, man, nothing better than Parasite from 2019. Nothing.
I agree.
It's got all the great hallmarks of South Korean cinema, which is like that outlandish, almost surreal humor, like when like the pesticide smoke was going into the stat stuff, or like when it was flooding and the toilet was exploding. Like those are all very like South Korean cinema type thing. It's like the sensibility of that part of the world, and it's also got those huge shifts in tone, which is another hallmark of that of that cinema. Parasite's it might not have been in my top 5, but I very easily could have made the case to put it in there. It's very, very good.
There you go. Honorable mentions. All right, real fast. Go ahead, James. Any honorable mentions? Anything that didn't make the cut for you?
The cut for, like, did you guys mention or just in general?
Just other stuff that you saw this year that was really good. It just didn't end up being 5 of the best you saw.
I saw this one from with the lovely Lady Wan and JC. Crawl. Fucking phenomenal film. Especially living in Florida. That was such a fun film. Nobody's talking about.
You and Lady Wan were like howling. In that
it was so much fun.
So brisk. It was
oh
wonderful.
My god!
I love Crawl too. Alexander Asia has turned out some great horror films.
Fun.
So
my god! Dr. Sleep. That was my only one that we didn't mention. For it to follow up The Shining, and pay tribute to the books that I didn't read. I thought that was really cool.
Very good. JC, on any honorables? You want to run down your 10 through 6?
Yeah, I also had Parasite. I had Jumanji: The Next Level. I'm sorry, but when a sequel doubles down and is funnier, then it's not as good of a movie, but is at least funnier. You got it for me. Jumanji: The Next Level was one of my most. All right, I'm sorry. Jumanji might have been my favorite comedy. Like, just it was funny. Like, I laughed in that movie.
Yeah,
I laughed. I belly laughed in Jumanji: The Next Level. So many jokes, so funny. The Irishman was a very good movie, despite it being long and me bagging on the fact that it's Scorsese doing Scorsese. Another enjoyable experience in the theater for me. Oh my God, Chris, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Fuck it. Knives Out.
Nice.
Yeah. Knives Out, I did enjoy from beginning to end. There's a couple lulls in the middle, but I thought it spun a good mystery. Jojo Rabbit, perhaps, that was on my list. It was near the bottom because it's still hard for me to. I love the performances in it. I thought the direction was great, but it is very hard for me to get behind a movie with comical Hitler.
And you laughed all the way through Schindler's List.
Yes, Schindler's List was hilarious. I actually have Spider-Man: Far From Home on here because I got to throw in some Marvel as well. Actually, I'm sorry, not Spider-Man. That's actually honorable mention. I have Endgame on here. Sorry, Endgame is my other one. I had like a 10 and then like 3 other ones in case somebody had taken mine. So Endgame was one of mine as well. I honestly do think that Margus and McFeely deserve Oscars for that screenplay. They had the unenviable task of making a satisfying film with all of those storylines and all of those characters and giving all of them their due. Whether or not they nailed it, just the fact that they attempted it and pretty much succeeded on most levels is an outstanding feat to me. So that's why Endgame makes my list.
I just want to mention one more before you move on because I know nobody's going to bring it up. But Fighting with My Family,
yeah,
bro, please go see that. That's it. That is all. Fighting with My Family.
Fair enough. We're big Florence Pugh fans around here. Lady Wan.
My honorable mentions were I had Spider-Man: Far From Home as well. I had Knives Out, Little Women that we talked about, but 2 that we didn't really bring up were Yesterday. I just loved how unique it was. I also, recurring theme, sobbed uncontrollably during that movie. I was on an airplane, so like maybe that was part of it. I cried at everything on airplanes.
Don't they say you cry more when you watch a movie on an airplane?
Yeah.
Like there's something to do with the
something about it, but I was crying so hard. I loved it. It was just something different. The performances are great. I will watch Lily James do anything.
Let me guess, you cried at old John Lennon.
Like I was snotting. It was so gross.
Snotting on an airplane.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
I'm sure the person in the middle seat was really happy.
Yeah, he was super psyched about it. And then my last one was A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It was like such a unique direction, the way they like played off of the Mr. Rogers set. It was like really, really cool. It was a beautiful story. It was just, it's a true story. It was great. Chris Cooper is like just being ignored in that. I don't know why. He was so good in it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that movie. So that's one of my honorable mentions.
That's a good one, Matt.
So my honorable mentions are basically just the movies that I would actually watch again and enjoy, like in an actual capacity. Like these are good movies, but I don't think I'd ever buy any of them or watch them on the regular. So Spider-Man: Far From Home, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Endgame, John Wick 3, Shazam, which is still my favorite DC movie. And All of You Can Kiss My Ass, but I like Alita Battle Angel. I'm gonna watch it. I liked Rosa Salazar. She was really good at it.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
I gotta rewatch Alita Battle Angel. I gotta rewatch that one.
Did you like that show on Amazon with her?
Rosa Salazar? I didn't watch that. I did watch her when she was on.
That show's really good.
Undone.
What's it called? Undone. Yeah.
Yeah, I
really
haven't seen that yet, but I did really. The first time I saw her was on Man Seeking Woman, which is a show that came out a few years ago. But she's on the last season of that show. I really liked her in that.
Yeah, she's great.
So the other stuff that hasn't been mentioned would be Manos, the film about the child soldiers, and they've kidnapped this doctor. and there's a bunch of warring factions in this. It's in South America. It's really interesting and off-putting and sad in some ways. High Life, Claire Denis' High Life as well. Robert Pattinson, the Pattinson-essence, is that a thing? Can we make that a thing?
Pattinson.
The Pattinson continues, and of course with the sex room, which I think every house should have. And then we did mention Jojo Rabbit, El Camino, the Breaking Bad follow-up on Netflix. I really enjoyed catching up with Jesse with that. And then that's it. Actually, guys, we talked about Dolomite Is My Name generally, Knives Out, Waves, Marriage Story. Yeah. Loose, I mentioned before. So there. Oh, I don't think anybody did. Anybody say Midsommar?
Yes, Matt mentioned Midsommar.
Yeah, no, we said that we didn't like that movie.
I did. It was my number 11, basically. So
Midsommar is filth.
That is.
It is trash.
An incorrect statement. So, all right. Well, we made it. It was touch and go for a while there.
2 hours later.
But we did get through it. I wanted to thank all of you for joining us.
I thought we were talking about our 10 most anticipated. For 2020.
All right, but only 10 each. So if we can go around, if you guys wouldn't mind plugging your shows, James, start us off. What is Pop Cult Net all about, and where can people find you?
Pop Cult Net is about pop culture and current events happening in pop culture. Every now and then I have guests on introducing their pods, so it's a cool networking pod. If you're looking for some pod recommendations and some news on pop culture, you can find me everywhere you get your pods, and you could follow me on Twitter at PopCultNet. Same as for all my socials.
Yeah, and his latest episode is about the Morbius teaser trailer.
Yeah, I'm still torn. I don't know how I feel about it.
But you did have a small typo in your title. You spelled it Moribus.
Oh shit! Thanks for pointing that out. Too late.
I still listened. It doesn't matter.
That's right. I tweeted out that this episode was going to get banged instead of saying it was a banger.
Yeah, banged. It doesn't
like
get
that.
banged.
Like, okay.
It's not a piece of pod meat.
Once you tweet it, you can't take it back.
No, you can't.
It's true.
If it's been touched, I don't. If no one has touched it, like it hasn't been tweeted or liked or anything, I will delete it. But I think James had already gotten to it, and I was like, damn
it. Your fault.
All right. ScreenFix. Lady Wan, JC, what's your show about? Where can people find you? What's coming
Lady
up
Wan's
next?
better at this. She's admittedly.
So you can listen to us anywhere you're going to find podcasts. We're also on Instagram and on Twitter at ScreenFix Pod. And our show is weekly-ish, and we will do a movie out in the theater. We'll talk about what we like about it, and then we'll give some fun ideas for how we would change it, like character tweaks, plot development, maybe just like filling in some plot holes that we didn't really follow. But it's all with a sense of humor. We have a good time doing it, and we like to give our ideas.
And our most recent episode is on Rise of Skywalker, and it does feature Chris from this show, from the first run.
I had a lot of fun on that. I think,
and I'll tell you what, it's got engagement like gangbusters.
Holla! You're welcome. It's got the skeleton bump.
Yeah,
it's got the first run bump. It's got nothing to do with it being Star Wars or the actual quality of your show. Good times. All right. Well, again, thank you all for joining us today. I hope to have everybody back, probably individually. And then hopefully I can show a guest on your shows as well. Hopefully Matt, if he's still here. I'm starting to think he might be quitting. I'm getting nervous.
Oh, his joy for movies is gone.
No, but Matt, we're going to see
Don't
Case
do it, Matt. We don't want to be left. You can't leave us with Chris, Matt.
Huh?
You can't leave us with Chris, Matt.
But I mean, you guys all live in the same area. I feel like I've nurtured you enough, Chris. Now it's time to let you go. Let you fly with your new Florida friends.
You've nurtured
Matt. I'm getting I'm sad right now. This wait, the farewell, but it's real life.
This is all news to me. I'm not pleased. All right, we'll talk about it. Mom and Dad have to get together and talk. I will be back next week to talk about Underwater and some other stuff. We'll see.
Underwater was awesome.
He's like,
now you don't need to listen to the show.
Awesome. That's a new word. Awesome.
Underwater was awesome.
So you can check us out everywhere you can find your podcasts. Pop over to Apple Podcasts. Give us a review. It'll help other people find the show. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually, you will find us. And that's it. We're going to go ahead, take an extended break. Thank you again, everybody. And we will see you all soon.
Bye.
Congratulations to those men.